Morning, this is the Eager Beaver Show.
You are listening to a True North Eager Beaver Media Incorporated podcast. The True North Eager Beaver podcasts are proudly brought to you by our founding sponsors, the Misfit Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, your source for science fiction, fantasy, and cozy mysteries featuring a broad diversity of characters, CanadianTarot.com, your uniquely Canadian online eclectic tarot community, and the Peppermaster, hot pepper sauces made from farm-fresh ingredients to thrill your taste buds and expand your mind. Good morning and hello, kids, and welcome to Season 4 and Episode 397 of the Daily Beaver Morning Show here on the Crier Media Network. Yeah. Today, recording day is Wednesday, May 5th, 2024. And according to what I've been hearing on the weather reports, it's going to be one of those days here at the Beaver Lodge where it will absolutely bake. I've heard that base temperature of 29 with a humidex of 32, but I've also heard on the news that base temperature will get all the way up to 31 and humidex will go to 37 today. So I don't know which it will be, but I have big pity on the workers who will be continuing to put siding on the house today because it's going to be just ridiculous heat. I am your host, the Eager Beaver, pronouns he, him, hey, Mr. Beaver A, and once again, I am flying completely blind. I cannot see anything on my screen, so I do not know what's going on. With me, as always, I assume, is my good friend, Mr. Grizzly, still in the room. All right. Big thank you goes to our podcast founding sponsors, the Peppermaster, the Misfit Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, and CanadianTarot.com. Mr. Grizzly, how is your mental health today, sir?
Well, good morning, Mr. Beaver. Mental health is it's okay today. It's okay today. It's day by day getting a little bit better. I just checked the forecast for the nation's capital today, and it is expected to be 32 with a high of with a humidex of 37, which literally means it's hot as balls outside because the human body temperature is 37. So it's hot as balls out.
Yep, definitely. It's hot as balls.
Literally.
Yep,
it will be today.
Or or hot as under boobage.
Yeah.
Jeez, God.
Hey, look!
I look tropical. I'm not.
It was 5 degrees just like a week ago. So.
I know. It's ridiculous.
That's the hard part. Let us get to a temperature and plateau. I don't need this yo-yo roller coaster thing.
Yeah,
that's the part that drives us nuts.
Absolutely. We're doing some work in the garden as well. We've started our garden, and we're literally transporting 3 cubic yards in a wheelbarrow of compost topsoil and manure to make a 2-inch base. We've laid out the cardboard and all that kind of stuff in the garden, and it's like, we're not going to be doing that today until about 7 p.m.
No, yeah,
that.
Even then,
that is not happening.
I was out last night around 8 o'clock for almost an hour with Lola, and I came in. I had to sit down for 30 minutes. It was must have been close to 30 with humidity. It was really hot last night. I'm not complaining, but it just zapped my energy and my strength. When I got in, I was like lightheaded, so I had to sit down for 30 minutes before I could get up and do anything. So, yeah.
All right, kits and cubs. There is lots in the news today, and we don't have time to get to it all because Mr. Grizzly has a hard out. But we will get to those over the week and the coming weeks. But there's election results from India. The EU Parliament has 4 days of voting going on right now. There was an election in Mexico. There was an election in South Africa, and all of them have interesting historical results that I would love to get into, and I've been wanting to get into these in the past few days, but there just keeps on being stories here in Canada that explode like this. And we try to we try to be a Canadian focused show, and I know like last week we had 2 shows that were very internationally focused, but then again you have over 50 elections going on this year and 80 and over the next 2 years, so there's going to be a lot of international news, and some of these things are consequential. I mean, when the president of Iran's plane crashes into a mountainside, that changes things for everyone.
Yes, it does.
When in South Africa the ruling ANC party no longer has a majority for the first time since the end of apartheid, that's a big, huge deal that will affect global. So we're having huge consequences like this. So hopefully we will get into them. We're not forgetting them. We're not ignoring them. But yesterday, oh my God. Okay, we talked about it a little bit at the end of the show because we had to try and squeeze it in. But foreign interference is way on the radar.
Oh, yeah.
All of a sudden. Because, and we've been getting little drops and drips. Remember, we had the intelligence reports, we had all the leaks, we had the Sam Cooper stuff, and there are defamation suits and stuff like that going on at that end, and they'll resolve that in their own time as to how ethically the journalism was done at that time. And we still don't know whether or not there is an actual RCMP investigation into the actual leaks, which would be really nice to know who it is in our intelligence apparatus who's leaking information to try to cause trouble.
Yeah.
If there's an investigation, no one has even said that one has been started yet, which seems a little odd to me.
Well, and as I understand yesterday that it was brought up in question period in the House of Commons by the Liberal Party. They discussed it. They said they'll do an internal investigation. There will be, and apparently the Conservative Party was mum on the subject.
Yes, well, we'll get into that. So, news came out. So first of all, we had that news, and then we had the government appointed the former Governor General David Johnston, which then opposition, conservatives, like they did to the We Charity, decided to destroy the reputation of a good person or a good organization, just for shits and giggles. And the Governor General was removed, and then we got this Foreign Interference Commission with Justice Marie-Josée Hogg, which the interim report came out not too long ago, pretty much confirming everything that David Johnston had said the first time, but what wasn't good enough for the Conservatives because 50 years ago or 60 years ago or something like that, maybe not 60 because Trudeau wasn't 60 yet, but 40 something years ago, when Trudeau was a child, their families went on a ski trip together. So now they're forever best buds, and they hang out together and share all the intimate details of their lives and that kind of stuff.
Go for pints on Fridays.
Yeah, exactly. Because neither of these men are too busy.
No. They have all the spare time in the world, considering, one is a former Governor General who's an elder statesman in his 80s, by the way, and the other one is 51 years old and is the Prime Minister of Canada, who's currently attending, I believe, a G7 and D-Day at the same time. Is that correct?
Yeah, I believe so, yes.
Yeah, 80th anniversary of D-Day is tomorrow, friends.
Yes.
Yeah.
And on a programming note for that, Kits and Cubs, we will have Kit Hugh with us, who is a military historian. Kit Hugh did our Remembrance Day special in 2022 with us, which is by far our most viewed YouTube video. It's the only one that we have that's in the 4 digits. So
on our YouTube channel. And
everybody has been asking for us to bring him back since then, and we will. on Thursday. So we will talk D-Day.
Good.
And,
I was hoping he could make it. I was going to ask you if he was available to come and chat with us, because the man knows his stuff. And
yes, he knows his stuff. Plus, he is a teacher, so sometimes he's in class, but
yes,
not on that today. So he will be able to be with us and chat to us about D-Day and the historical stuff and why it's important, and make some links to today. As well, why it is that it's all important to support, to commemorate the 80th anniversary. Now, this hasn't stopped the blue checkmark bullshit accounts on Twitter, by the way, of complaining because the Prime Minister's doing his job, right? They're saying, like, the shit's hitting the fan here on foreign interference and the Prime Minister's going to gallivanting around. It's like, okay, dudes, it's the 80th commemoration of D-Day. Have some fucking respect.
Yeah.
It's the damn job. Zip it. If there's one day that you probably should not use your freedom of speech out of respect for the sacrifice of the veterans, it would be over the next 2 or 3 days. Okay? Just shh. We don't want to hear it. We're honoring our veterans. Keep your frickin' mouth shut. Keep your trash mouth shut. All right.
I'll be right back. Just a second.
Yeah. So, back to foreign interference. So we had all this set up, and then we have the commission, we have the first interim report, and then, meanwhile, in the background, the Prime Minister dropped a huge bombshell in the House with regard to India, which caused the government of India, which just finished an election, so they were performing a lot for 6 weeks. Not for 6 weeks. They were performing a lot for many weeks. The election took place over 6 weeks. And the BJP party did their bloc. The coalition of which they're a part has a majority, but the party itself didn't get a majority, which it has had over the last 2. Now, the party's made history by being elected for the 3rd time, getting a 3rd mandate. But Narendra Modi does not have ultimate power anymore. He is going to have to work with smaller parties. So he got chastised. So that's the big headline out of there, and he won't be too happy, I would assume.
Well,
and it may start the beginnings of a movement to get rid of him because he no longer has a full majority. So, and leaders have been overthrown by their coalitions before.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
As is currently happening in Israel, by the way. So,
in case you hadn't noticed, yeah.
In case you hadn't noticed. So there's a lot going on. So then we heard about India, and then we heard reports specifically about India having helped one particular candidate in the Conservative Party of Canada's latest leadership race. And I think we pretty much know that it's not Patrick Brown, because Patrick Brown once had a relationship with Narendra Modi that was like this. And then all of a sudden, when he's running for the leadership of the Conservative Party of Canada, he's persona non grata in India.
Yeah, what does that tell you?
I wonder what may have been the source of that. Could it be, I don't know, Harper? Satan? Harper? Sorry, I had a little church lady moment there.
That's okay. You're loud.
So, because Harper and Modi are, they're BFFs, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, they love each other. So, things didn't go well for Modi. Things weren't going well for Patrick Brown. He kind of got the boot, found himself on the outside all of a sudden. Then we hear these reports that someone got helped. I have no evidence. This is probably speculation. It's all speculation. But considering that while Harper is still the de facto leader of the Conservative Party of Canada via being chair of the IDU, and Pepe von Schneips, even though he did cross him on the day of the Indigenous apology, must have kissed a lot of ass since then, because apparently he's the golden child and has been handpicked by Harper. And Harper even got Modi to abandon Patrick Brown in favor of, I would assume, Pierre Poilievre, because I'm pretty sure that Modi didn't suddenly find a love for Scott Aitchison.
No. I'm going to think, probably not. I think Scott Aitchison is a little bit too progressive for Narendra Modi.
Yeah. And he has slipped since.
Yes, he has.
Yes,
I mean, when he entered into the leadership race, both you and I were going like, I think this is the guy. This is the guy. He was saying all the things that a progressive conservative would say.
And now he's saying all the things that a conservative who wants to win a seat under Pierre will have to say.
Yes. a social conservative or a Reform Party stalwart. I mean, he was. I don't think he's. I don't know, man. He was progressive when he entered the race for leadership.
Yeah.
What's happened since then, I have no idea.
He wants to win.
Yeah.
I guess. So he's following the formula. He isn't in as deep as the Rachel Thomases and the Garnet Genuises of the world, but every now and then, like, sort of Michael Chung level, every now and then he says, "Oh, come on, really? You're supposed to be one of the ones that we respected."
Yeah.
Jeez. So, came out the news yesterday, or the day before yesterday, sorry, that it would seem that when it comes to interference, that some MPs. Now, I'm not sure of everything because yesterday when we were talking about it was one former MP.
Right.
I've then since seen stories that there's a list of 10 MPs. I don't know how true that is. I've just been seeing comment on the internet and it's 10, name them. So I'm assuming there's more than one. But that we know of yesterday when we were talking, there was one specifically that seemed to be a problem. It may be more. Because, again, we don't know enough to know. The NSICOP report is out. I've got it. I haven't read it yet. It's about 92 pages.
Oh, you did get a copy of it? Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah. It's available online.
Oh, okay.
To see, to read. The public one, which is redacted, of course, for the most sensitive information.
Well, that would make sense, yes.
Now, it seems that the names of all of these MPs have been redacted.
Yes.
Now, I do not know if that is because there is a criminal investigation going on, because the report did say that some of these activities may indeed have crossed the line into criminality. There also seem to be initial reports that even though some of the activities devolved into criminality, that there probably wouldn't be much that could be done and probably no charges laid ultimately, due to there being a lacking mechanism of some kind or whatsoever. To me, that sounds like gobbledygook because there is a law against doing what was done. And if you break the law, then inherently there is a mechanism to hold you accountable. So I don't know what mechanism it is that was being claimed was lacking 2 days ago for them to pursue criminal charges, or if that was just a trial balloon.
I don't know.
Right, because you also have Minister Dominique Leblanc saying, I'm not going to speculate and I don't see the value in like naming names. So it's like, well, we do. We do. If there is more than one, if there is 10 or more, whatever, I would suspect, given the reactions of both the government and the leader of the opposition or the opposition party, that members from both parties are involved in this. Because you had Christopher Freeland saying the right things, in the sense that, well, yes, this is very concerning to a government and we will do an internal investigation and all that kind of stuff, but we don't want an internal investigation. We don't want an internal investigation. If the Liberals do an internal investigation, they're doing internal investigation of who? Themselves. That doesn't help us get down to the bottom of what happened from other parties. And I doubt very much that the Liberal Party itself will do an internal investigation of what was going on with MPs of the Conservatives, because I'm sure the Conservatives would just roll over and allow that to happen. They tend to be a little ornery and combative when you ask them for transparency. Just saying. So I don't know what that internal investigation would be, what it would look like, how it would work, and how it would get to anything that was useful to Canadian citizens to know if there are MPs who are elected, who are working on our time and our dime to put the interests of either themselves or other nations before those of Canadians. We don't pay you to do that.
No.
That's not your job. Your job is not to represent yourself or represent another nation. Your job is to represent us. That's why they call it a
Canadians.
Representative democracy. That's why it's called the House of Commons.
As in
Because you're
common
supposed to
people,
respect the common.
not royals. We're commoners, not royals. That's why it's the House of Commons. For
Mhm.
those of you who may not be aware of that, that's
The
where that
Senate
comes
is
from.
the upper house, the royal house,
Yes.
and the House of Commons is the lower house, the House of the people, or the commoners.
Non-royal. Commoners. That's us.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Don't you think
So,
the Pulp song, I want to live like the
with the
common
common
people.
I want to love like the common people do.
And I love Pulp's version, but William
Yep.
Shatner's version I like
Yes.
even more. Because
Yes.
Joe Jackson, I've never heard Joe Jackson sing like that before.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep. Yeah, it's cool. So, we have the Liberals promising some type of internal investigation, and there's no need to name names and blah 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 like this. And then we have the Conservatives, the law and order Conservatives, the jail not bail Conservatives, the we must defend the integrity of these elections Conservatives, the you must show ID before you vote Conservatives, the um, leader has a lifetime compliance agreement with Elections Canada because he cheated in an election. Conservatives, current leader earned his seat in Parliament because his party cheated in an election to which they pleaded guilty in court 5 years after doing it. Conservative Party of Canada supporting Canadian citizens who like to come down to the nation's capital, occupy a city, and take 100,000 people or so, allegedly, hostage. Conservatives, these guys have come down with a sudden case of acute onset laryngitis.
I was going to say amnesia, but sure, that works too.
Sudden onset selective convenient mutism. Yeah. Take 2 truth bombs and call me in the morning.
Yes, we are live. Miss Shattuck.
Have
another cup of coffee.
More coffee.
More coffee.
They apparently have nothing to say about this potential criming. This where's the law and order talk now? Where's the we must catch the criminals and treat them like it's impossible for them to be rehabilitated. Lock them up, throw away the key, 3 strikes, forget them forever. Because PP is on his second right now.
All parties will be hurt by this. Nobody's going to walk away from this unscathed. I do believe the Conservatives will get the worst damage, and I think Poilievre's days as leader are ticking. The clock is ticking down.
Yes.
Well, and this is going to be the straw that breaks the camel's back, I believe. I could be wrong.
Well, no, you could be wrong, but
could be wrong.
I think you could be right because I listened yesterday to Kit James's Blackballed episode with Dave Wallace again, who's making
I haven't had a chance
appearances.
To check it out.
And according to Dave Wallace, his hypothesis is like yours, and that you suggested that PP would not be leading the party into the next election. Now, the rumor or the speculation with regard to that is that they wanted PP in for this period of time to whip everybody up into a frenzy, then try to find a way to throw them overboard, and then put in someone who's even more the extreme than him. But by then there'd be only 4 to 6 months before the election, and people would want change so bad they wouldn't even bother to care, would look under the hood, and then just bring in the person that would do the things like change same-sex marriage and abortion, because PP apparently is on the record saying he wouldn't. I'll believe that when it lasts.
Well,
because he lies about everything.
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 For commentary, because I know you can't see the screen right now.
I can't see the screens yet.
It says Pierre Poilievre will also be replaced by a more right-wing leader who will bring abortion to the table. I believe you are correct.
See, so that seems to be the plan, is according to rumor anyway, is that they want to, once we get whipped up so much that we really want to get rid of Justin Trudeau. Well, sorry, something happened with Pierre, but how would you like this person? And I have probably that person will sort of be Harper-ish in terms of like speak softly and try to sound incredibly reasonable.
hmm
Uh,
Harper was good at that.
Harper was very good. That was the most
He
frightening
was.
thing about him.
Well, I mean, that's why I
His,
say he was a good
his
politician,
yes,
not good for the country, but he was really good at playing the political game
yeah,
because he could, he sounded reasonable. I mean, first the guy comes across, he's milk toast. He never
yeah,
raised his voice.
yeah,
He never said outlandish things like Pierre Poilievre does.
yeah.
He was measured, incremental. Like he knew what he was doing. He was
Oh
playing a
yes,
long game. Poilievre is
we
tired
were
of the long
frogs in a
game.
pot of boiling water with this guy.
Oh yeah, and Poilievre is tired of the long game. He just wants to go for the touchdown. And I'm like, dude, you're about to lose it. And
Yeah.
it is worth noting that.
He's been itching for 20 years to spike the ball.
Oh yeah,
Nobody
oh yeah.
wants to give him the ball.
Well, here, I'm just reading online. It's worth noting that Pierre Poilievre's party on Tuesday opted to ask 0 questions in question period about
Yep.
Monday's national security NSICOP report that said some parliamentarians are collaborating with foreign powers. Now, isn't that the same guy, Pierre Poilievre, who went on and on about Beijing interference? Not China, not China, Beijing interference.
Yep.
We're going to investigate Beijing. Nothing about any other country. And then they were like, no, we want to investigate Russia and India and the United States and any country that may have interfered in no, just Beijing. Beijing's not a country. It's a city in China. But he won't say China because we're part of FIPA, and FIPA was signed in secret by Stephen Harper, Daddy Steve.
Yep.
So it's there's multiple layers of garbage. I don't know what I'm trying to be polite. I don't know what other word to use there, but multiple layers of. You could even say conspiratorial territory, except it's not a conspiracy when it's real.
Yep.
It's not a conspiracy when it's real.
Yes. And here's the thing. Pierre was so focused on China because, well, here we go. Peter Zemunyich from CBC. China, India allegedly interfered in conservative leadership races. Because remember when conservatives tried to make us believe that China was interfering for the benefit of the liberals?
Yeah.
Then they really wanted the inquiry. Now, not so much. Foreign actors from India and the People's Republic of China allegedly interfered in more than one race for the leadership of the Conservative Party of Canada, says an intelligence report tabled in the House of Commons on Monday. The report from the National Security and Intelligence Committee of Parliamentarians, NSICOP, a key national intelligence oversight body, says there were, quote, 2 specific instances where People's Republic of China officials allegedly interfered in the leadership races of the Conservative Party of Canada. Most of the details regarding the allegations in the NSICOP report have been redacted. The report does not provide any further information about the nature of Beijing's alleged interference or about which conservative leadership races alleged were targeted and when. The report also reported, that's interesting writing, an allegation that India interfered in a single Conservative Party leadership race. The report says details of the allegations were removed from the report, again, report twice, before its publication to prevent the spread of injurious or privileged information. Quote, CSIS did not advise the Conservative Party of Canada or any intelligence suggesting there was foreign interference in the leadership contest, said Sarah Fisher. Not Fisher. Director of Communications for the Conservative Party. Quote, this is the first time we have heard about it. And there's an interesting thing, right? Remember when the first instances of this came out, when people were talking about threats to the family of Michael Chong, and the liberals were saying they didn't get information in that much detail and all that kind of stuff, and the conservatives went, bullshit. Funny how when the possibility that conservative MPs might be involved, CSIS did not advise the party of any intelligence suggesting there was a foreign interference in the leadership contest. This is the first time we have heard about it.
That's interesting.
Is an acceptable response from a party. But it's not when the liberals say it. And well, we know that this is not the first time we've heard about it because that article came out a few months ago suggesting that India had helped someone in the Conservative Party of Canada leadership. I believe that was maybe about like 3 or 4 months ago. And Sarah Fisher, there are tweets, if you look them up, which I can't show you because I can't bring anything up on my screen right now because I would put it up there for you. But there are tweets of Sarah Fisher commenting back then. So this is not the first they've known about it.
No. Here's the thing. So they're devious. They're not secretive about what they want, and they cheat constantly. But they're not very good at it because they're not that smart.
No. Fisher said Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre's campaign received no notice of interference in his race, quote, and he has no awareness of what is referenced. Well, if he had his NSICOP security clearance, he would.
He would. Yeah. But he won't get it.
Because he would be able to get the information, or the two members from the Conservative Party of Canada who are on the NSICOP committee would be able to share certain things with them.
I have two screen caps I need to share with you quickly, and I'll read them out, and it falls right in line with what we're talking about right now. Here's the first one. It's the picture of Jasraj Singh Halan with a stack of ballots. He says, long week haul, picked up last-minute ballots. The support for Pierre Poilievre is unreal. And let's go to the next photo.
All those envelopes are supposed to be sealed, by the way,
Yes.
so there's no way for him to know that there's support for Pierre Poilievre, and none of those envelopes should have been handled by members of the party and transported from one place to another as well.
The next photo is the CBC News headline, China, India allegedly interfered in conservative leadership races report. Conservative Party says, this is the first time we've heard about possible interference in leadership race. And it has a picture of Patrick Brown looking smug and smirking. When you watch this back later, sir, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about, and you will appreciate it.
Oh, I will. Now, don't get us wrong. Patrick Brown is not necessarily a good man either.
No. But he has been railroaded twice.
Yes, and his relationship with Modi was probably concerning on its own.
Yes. But this guy's not innocent. He's got as much grease on him as the rest of the people in that party do. But what was done to him?
But he was done dirty.
He was done dirty. He was
done dirty.
And that being said, here's my one comment on Patrick Brown. He's greasy. He likes money and power. He only likes to meet at the Four Seasons for meetings and have you pick up the tab. This is all public knowledge. David Wallace told us all about this. All of that being said, I do believe the man actually is a progressive conservative, which is why they would not let him win. I mean, he's greasy, he's dirty, but I still believe he's a progressive. Much like we all knew Brian Mulroney, envelopes of cash. Yep. But he was still a progressive.
Yep.
He was still a progressive.
Progressives like to make money too.
Yeah.
Progressives are capitalists too, and progressives can be greasy and shady too.
But still progressive. I mean, Mulroney was the greenest prime minister we've ever had.
Yep.
And we remember how Elizabeth May spoke about him in the House of Commons. Green Party leader, Elizabeth May. And she used to work for Brian Mulroney.
Yep.
So
indeed. Yep. The report also, the report reported who wrote this thing? Yeesh.
I don't know. Wasn't me. Probably AI.
I'm so sorry, kids.
It's probably AI.
One of the things I learned very early in school is that you try not to use the report reported, like the report said, the report stated, the report affirmed, avowed, clarified, suggested, but not report. Not we were told that. So whenever I see that, it just like strikes my, for lack of a better word, grammar Nazi. Just bugs me. There are so many words. So the report also stated, I'm going to change the word, an allegation that India interfered in a single Conservative Party leadership race. The report says details of the allegation were removed from it before its publication to prevent the spread of injurious or privileged information. Now, what else Sarah Fisher says is that to buy a Conservative Party membership, people had to pay by personal credit card, personal check, or personal bank draft. She said cash and prepaid credit cards could not be used, which is good because we found in the past that that's a way to screw things up. But the thing is that the Conservative Party of Canada doesn't particularly have, and we've learned this now over at least a decade, the strongest security mechanisms.
Clearly.
When Bernier and Scheer were the last two left, they destroyed the ballots minutes after they were counted so nobody could do a check. That's weird and new behavior.
You think?
Nowhere in a democracy are you taught to destroy the ballots the second that the vote is counted.
No.
ever.
You don't do that.
Ever. But they did that. They, last time we had comments about prepaid credit cards and cash and all that type of stuff, and they tapped that down. But we know that, for example, because we talked about this, when it comes to their merchandise sales, we don't know really if that is done through the party. We don't know if those are recorded or considered political contributions. We don't know if those are set up in such a way as to enrich certain individuals. And we don't know if those are set up in such a way that allows dark foreign money to come in by the bucket load into the party for the alleged production of T-shirts, which we don't even know whether they actually have to be produced or delivered.
Yeah.
And none of this is under the auspices of Elections Canada, but they set that up that way purposefully.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So they want us to believe somehow that had they received notice of interference, that they would have done something about it, when this appears to be one of the parties with some of the laxest internal security mechanisms in the world. I mean, they took pictures of their own MPs handling ballots, transporting them from one place to another, stating that they knew before even opening them that the ballots were for Pierre.
Yeah, that's all
the
very
Oscars
suspect.
have more security with their envelopes.
You see, it's funny because it's true.
It's the Academy Awards, which democratically doesn't change anybody's life. I mean, yeah, sure, people get rich and whatnot, and the winner of the Oscar versus the person who finishes in second place does much better. But it's not like a cure for cancer is depending on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or the liberty of the free world. So, I mean, if the people from Deloitte and KPMG and all of them, like this brigaproof suitcase with a briefcase with handcuffs on it, and like this, and have 3 people and security guards and whatnot, all so that nobody finds out who won the best film Oscar before it's actually broadcast. Yeah, I think the Conservative Party of Canada could up their game a little. Just like the Liberal Party. When we heard about Hang Dong, what is this about party nominations being open to people who are not citizens and under 18 to vote?
Yeah, that's very strange, don't you think?
And that's the inherent problem with having the inherent conflict of interest with having political parties determine the consequences and the laws that regulate their own behavior. Because then when we get reports like this, we go, oh, well, I don't think it would serve anybody to make names public. And I believe that was the initial response when we had the Senate expenses scandal too. Well, I don't think they believe it. It's like, and the Canadian public said, yeah, it does. So, yeah, because democracy is something that you do, we're going to do this a little early, but you need to get pen to paper, and you better say, yeah, we want to know. Who are the traitors? Because that's the other thing, right, on the show when we talk about new behavior, that the Conservative Party that's always jumping up and down and saying, this is a scandal, there isn't. Trudeau got up on the left side of the bed versus the right side of the bed. It's a national scandal.
Mm-hmm. Well,
okay, there's not one question.
Yeah,
all of a sudden, they're not curious. All of a sudden, they don't care about law and order and transparency and security.
Yeah.
This is new behavior.
Well, I'm reading here online from at Fred Hickey on the Twitter or X. If a Liberal or NDP MP is involved with foreign governments, we will want them out of office and possibly in prison.
Yes.
If a Conservative MP is involved, their supporters will fully support them and somehow try to blame Trudeau. I don't think he's wrong about that.
He's not.
I really don't.
He's not.
I think he's bang on.
We just have to have the proof. Look at all the times that the Conservatives are complaining about rampant and incessant Liberal corruption.
Mm-hmm.
And then compare with their past government. Pleaded guilty in court to in and out. Bruce Carson, convicted. Arthur Porter, convicted. Dean Del Mastro, administered in the cabinet, convicted. Senator Don Meredith, I'm not sure if he has been charged yet, but was certainly investigated for making some interesting phone calls to people, having interesting phone conversations to women under the age of 18, invoking his man of God.
Mm-hmm. Oh, look, yes. Whoever is involved, whatever MP, whatever party, I don't care about the party affiliation. If you are involved in international interference when it comes to elections, whether it's a leadership or a general or a
Or
provincial
just the running of our country.
yeah. I want you out of the party. I want you charged. And if they find you guilty in a court of law, you go to jail. You go to prison. That's
Yep.
it. That's all. I don't
And then-
care what party you're from.
Exactly.
It's treason. Period.
Yes. And a normal
Period.
and from the party that can't keep the word treason out of its trash mouth.
Yeah. All of a sudden, can't.
Treason Trudeau, hang Trudeau, Secretary Trudeau, like this. All of a sudden,
Shh, quiet. Shh. Zip it. Zip it. Zip it. All of a sudden, can't say a damn thing about this.
this is a backflip tumbling pass worthy of Cirque du Soleil. Something is very rotten in the state of
Denmark.
PP Mark.
Uh-huh.
I can smell it from my house.
From the breaking news from the Western Standard Pitch Bot, which is a sarcastic feed, by the way. Okay, it's a comedy feed. It's not real. Breaking: Premier Danielle Smith finalizes Stanley Cup final wager with Florida. If Governor DeSantis wins, he gets to close down one of our rural hospitals. If I win, I get to pick which one.
Ooh, such a deal.
See, that's funny because it's life imitating art there.
Oh, man, oh, man, oh, man. Monday's report marks the third time the NSICOP has reviewed the government's response to threats of foreign interference since 2018 and Trudeau's trip to India, a point members make known throughout their latest report. Quote, given the risks posed by foreign interference to Canada's national security, the committee expected the government to act. It was slow to do so, says the report. In the committee's view, this delay contributed in part to the crisis in which the government found itself in late 2022 and early 2023. Now, says the report, this one, that little line,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure how much I buy it, and I'm not sure how much that's objective.
Mm-hmm.
Because saying that the government was slow to do so,
Mm-hmm.
and it led to this crisis in which they found themselves in 2022, 2023. The previous government, again, was asked by the Liberals several times to put the Iranian Revolutionary Guard on the terrorist list, and they did not. Now they're asking the Liberals to do it, and the Liberals have not, although the Liberals have made conditions a little more difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I lost my thought.
That happens sometimes.
But yes, they've been asking for, the Conservatives have been asking for all these types of things, these mechanisms
Mm-hmm.
and whatnot. And then when they were in power, this type of election interference was going on too, maybe not at this level, but they didn't start an NSICOP. They didn't start an NSIRA.
No.
It was the current government that did that. So yes, it takes time for these systems to be put in place, but the party that right now that is choosing strategically to stay silent
Mm-hmm.
also did nothing, if they're claiming the Liberals did nothing, and the Liberals objectively, you can look on paper, have done way more.
Well, here's something from yesterday. Yesterday morning, Deputy Prime Minister Chrystia Freeland was pressed at a news conference Tuesday morning about why the names of those MPs are being kept secret and why no charges have been laid, given some of the actions could constitute treason. Her response: I think your question is an important one because the findings of the committee are concerning, and they should be. I do really want to emphasize it needs to be law enforcement that takes the steps and takes the actions. The actual enforcement actions cannot be politicized. She is correct about that. It has to be the RCMP that does the investigation. The government can't do it.
Indeed. But, and had not had that initial comment not come out in the first report saying that there's probably no way to actually charge them because there's lacking a mechanism,
Mm-hmm.
that response would have been good enough for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
But now I don't want to know. It's like, we need to do an investigation where it's up to RCMP to do this. I want to know the RCMP are doing an investigation.
That's what we want to hear. And on that note.
Yes. Kids and Cubs. That's the end of this episode of the Daily Beaver Morning Show. We hope that you love listening to us because we love making this for you. Remember that sharing is caring and word of mouth is priceless, so please tell your peeps and poops all about us. We love it when you do. If you would like to make sure that you do not miss an episode, you do not have to, thanks to the Ray Girl, because she is flying fierce and fabulous, of course, and she sponsors our pod page. And again, like yesterday, as soon as you put the QR code, now all of a sudden I can see. And we're moving.
Maybe I'll just put the QR code at the beginning. I don't know what's going on.
What have we got to lose?
Just,
if you would like to support us in other ways, please go to the True North Eager Beaver Media Incorporated YouTube channel, like a lot of you have been doing. I think we crossed 850. So yay, let's go. Our goal is 1,000 by Canada Day, so we need your help. Thank you so very much. Oh, somebody scanned the QR code. Thank you so much. And
two ad campaigns running right now, a promo and an ad campaign. So it helps to spread the word.
Excellent. If you would like to support us, go to our True North Eager Beaver Media YouTube page and make like Kit Elaine and smash the buttons before you leave. Like, share, subscribe. When you click them, it makes us happy. And we love to get ourselves some happy. So please subscribe to us today. And if you would like to support us in other ways, well, that QR code by Mr. Grizzly's head right there brings you to the Eager Beaver Lodge's Emergency Hydration Fund. And we ask that you take a little visit over there, surf on down. And if you happen to like our show and would like to encourage us to do more by leaving us a little tip, like buying us a cup of coffee or a hot chocolate or something, or even a Guinness for Mr. Grizzly, then you can do that there. We are very
Guinness
grateful.
Zero.
Guinness Zero. We are grateful for everything that you contribute. Thank you very much. And please do remember that the most important contribution that you make to the show is via your participation and your gift of your attention. Thank you so much for joining us. If you would like to write to us, we love to hear from you. Yes. Okay, well, let's do that then. June 15th, because democracy is something that you do, the mental health walk on June 15th. If you're in Ottawa, please join us at around noon at the Canadian Museum of Nature near Metcalfe and Argyle. It will be our muster point. We will take a 5-kilometer walk through the streets of Ottawa and down along the canal, ending at the Lieutenant's Pump while we will do our monthly podcast for you live. We will have guests, Senator Brazeau and his wife. It will be a dry event for the time that they are there with us on
hence
camera.
The Guinness Zero.
Yes, hence the Guinness Zero, because Mr. Senator Brazeau, I should say, is campaigning on something called Enable the Label, so that we could put warning labels on alcohol, because
I agree with
they
that.
can
I
lead.
really do.
Yes, absolutely. We need to know what we put in our body, and it can lead to, health issues. So we need to know. We do it for cigarettes. We put calories and fat and stuff on food, and so I don't see why alcohol should be exempted from having labeling requirements that are a little more strict.
According to the World Health Organization, no amount of alcohol is safe.
Yes. Exactly, and according to recent studies, more than 2 drinks per week can start to be the cause or catalyst for certain or the onset of certain cancers. Mm-hmm. So, in addition to the mental health issues and addiction and all that kind of stuff, and that alcohol can bring, but they will be there. So, please, if you would like to make a plan, if you can, to on Saturday. Call a friend. If you are male or male identifying, we encourage you to call another male or male identifying person and talk together, because we want to normalize men speaking to each other. But if you are female or female identifying or genderqueer, please walk for the men in your life. If the men in your life don't have another man to talk to, please be that person. Everybody's welcome to participate. And Kits and Cubs, we now have our merch.
Cool.
So our good friend Andrea here in Kingston has made our shirts for us. So we have a couple of them for promotion. I will bring you yours this week, Mr. Grizzly, so that you can have them. But we will be selling them as well. She has agreed to make them on order. So if you, we're going to be selling them for $35 each. That will include shipping and taxes. If you want to send money to us or something, I would rather we can do it through coffee, I'm hoping, and if you indicate it that way, but there's a service fee on that for everyone that we would hope to avoid. Maybe, I don't know if they can send something to True North Eager Beaver? We'll have to figure that out.
Why don't we organize something directly through Andrea and have them send the orders directly to her, and we could put our logo on the back.
That might be. Yeah, I'll see about that.
Yeah.
But here's what if you want a shirt, let us know. Send us something at truenortheagerbeaver@gmail.com or on our Twitter feed. Let us know how many. All the shirts will be black. We're going to look at an e-transfer. We're just trying to figure out what email address to put up to send it to.
Right.
They can be sent to truenortheagerbeaver@gmail.com.
Yeah, you should be able to use it.
Yeah. Okay, use truenortheagerbeaver@gmail.com for e-transfers. It's $35, and give us your size. Andrea will make them to order for us. I can't guarantee that they'll necessarily all get to you before the 15th, but we will do our best. But please, if you would like to do that, they're really great. I love mine so much.
Excellent.
Yeah, they turned out really well. The color gradation is a little different. We don't have the gradual for the suicide prevention ribbon because that's a little hard to do with this type of printing. But they look great just the same.
Yeah, no.
All right. So thank you for all your support on that. And there will become more soon. We will have an announcement of some community partners and other type of stuff coming over the next few days.
Yes, we've got a week and a bit before this, so we gotta get pushing on it.
Exactly. Okay. Because democracy is something that you do, get your T-shirts. If you're in Alberta, participate in the NDP leadership. If you're in BC, Ontario, or BC, Saskatchewan, or New Brunswick, please get ready for your provincial elections.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Grizzly, it could be a tough world out there, so please be kind to and gentle with yourself. Do you have words of wisdom?
Yeah. I'm in a bit of a anxious panic because of all the stuff that's going on in my life, and I have to remember that at the end of the day, this is all temporary. It's all temporary. Anything that's bad is happening to you right now is temporary. Everything does come to an end, and I don't guarantee that it's always a happy or a good ending, but the bad stuff isn't forever. It's only temporary. So just try and remember that as you get on with your day-to-day. Things do change, and that's important.
Okay. And for kits who want to, Andrea has also agreed to print our Eager Beaver Show shirts, and I think she can do baseball caps and whatnot, but she will be our on-demand printing for that. So if there's any other product that you would like, let us know. We can have them made to order and on command. And there you go. So
we'll move all our merch over to her then directly.
Yeah, we'll move like this. So we'll figure out what it is that she can and cannot produce. But she has one of those things, that word that Saucy talks about, the machine that starts with a C, to help do labels and stuff. I don't know what's called Cricut or something. I can't remember what it is.
Right.
But she has it, so we can do that. All right, kits and cubs, have a great day. Mr. Grizzly, please cue the cock. You are listening to a True North Eager Beaver Media Incorporated podcast. The True North Eager Beaver podcasts are proudly brought to you by our founding sponsors, the Misfit Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, your source for science fiction, fantasy, and cozy mysteries featuring a broad diversity of characters, CanadianTarot.com, their uniquely Canadian online eclectic tarot community, and the Peppermaster, hot pepper sauces made from farm-fresh ingredients to thrill your taste buds and expand your mind. We are grateful to the Crier Media Network for its support, Pete Jarvis for our artwork, and Paul Joseph Something for our opening and closing sequence music.